All right, guys, let me level with you. And you know Uncle Chael only tells the truth. I enjoy some trash talk, but I got no dirt on Brunt. My personal favorites are the Marin and the Omen. And guys, these things are comfortable right out of the box. I'm talking zero break-in, none. And if you got a hardworking guy in your life, a construction guy, a mechanic, a rancher, a weekend warrior, or just a tough dude who likes standing tall, Brunt boots and their whole lineup of killer workwear make perfect gifts. Durable, dependable, and they're actually comfortable. Plus, they're dropping limited edition styles all month long. I'm telling you right now, these are gonna sell out. I don't want you saying I didn't warn you. Built to perform, built to last, and guess what? If they're not right for you, Brunt will stand behind it. You can send them back, no risk. With temperatures dropping and the holidays coming up, treat yourself or the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. You can skip the junk gifts. Get Brunt workwear. Our listeners get $10 off their entire order. Just use the code CHAEL at checkout. I want you to go to bruntworkwear.com. Use code CHAEL. Order today, and when they ask, let them know you heard about it right here on the show. MMA Junkie quoted me, and I love it. I love it when they do that. But MMA Junkie quoted me, and that was very sweet. They called me top UFC analyst. Chael Sonnen put my name in capital letters, and then gave my quote, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Biggest mismatch in sport. Top story. It's their top story right now. Very, very cool. Fairhound did that. Thank you. But let's look at that. Let's look at that real quick, because that is not without exaggeration. This is the biggest mismatch, the biggest sporting mismatch of my lifetime. What does that mean? Well, that's a very personalized statement. That's, in my life, I've just never seen anything this big of a mismatch. And I'm not just talking televised massive events. Westland High School, my high school, led by the great Kevin Keeney, beat a team last night, okay, and partway through the duel, the score was 56-0. And I get a text message. From somebody's there, and they take a picture of the mat, and they know the Lions are out there and wrestling this team, and then a picture of the scoreboard. That's pretty bad. 56-0 in a wrestling duel meet. Partway through, this is pretty bad. So I'm including these things. I'm including recess that I saw. Justin Wolf was a master of foursquare, and a new kid would come play. He had absolutely no chance, and Justin had trick moves. He'd spin the ball so it would hit your square, and then it would go out of bounds, and you would lose a point. Like, he had trick moves. I'm counting all of these things. I have never, Chael Sonnen, seen a mismatch like Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, okay? A world champion, the second biggest contract in the UFC today, Sean O'Malley, who is business partners and personal friends with Jake Paul, said, I'm concerned for his safety. And that's one of the things that separates this from maybe the wrestling match that was recently as last night, or the Foursquare game that I gave reference to, is the stakes. This is not somebody trying to score points on you or embarrass you or show a dominance over you. They're trying to hurt you. They're trying to separate you from consciousness, of which they expect you somewhere around 10 seconds or so to regain and come back to your feet, but not always. It's a very high stakes game, and I've just never seen anything like this. Now, I take the time to tell you that because Ariel Helwani had a great piece of theater yesterday. Ariel is doing the press conference, and MVP does a number of things very well, but they might have the most beautiful press conferences in the game. They truly might. So they got the backdrops, everything's going their way, and they're all sitting up there and they're interviewing, and Ariel's orchestrating this thing, and then Ariel just goes into a piece of theater where he goes to each and every person on the stage and gets a prediction. I loved it. I love prediction from fellow athletes. I've just always liked it. It puts them in a little bit of a spot. It's A fellow athlete will very seldomly, in fact, I have been given jobs because I will do this and no one else will, which is to give you a prediction that is a true prediction as opposed to a popularity contest. Who do I like more? And there's truly a number of analysts that will tell you, hey, you got to throw to Chael. Go to Chael. He'll tell you, I can't do it if I'm buddies with this guy. I can't do it if I got a relationship with that guy. I can't do it if I've been in the gym with him or me and this guy's managers or second cousins. I tell you that because I believe that this was a popularity contest too. And not only that, they're on the spot in front of everybody. And this is Jake Paul's event. Everybody on that stage is there because Jake said so, not because Anthony said so. And everybody there is going to get a check from funds secured by Jake Paul, not Anthony. So it's okay. I just want you to understand this because Jake won. There was a few holdouts. Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley both abstained. I think they even used that word. And I think there was one other. But it was 4-3. They went to 7 people, of which Jake Paul wasn't one and Anthony Joshua wasn't one. They went to 7 people that did speak up, 10 people in total. They went to 7 people that spoke up, and it went 4-3 Jake Paul. And I'm trying to interpret that. I think that I've already accurately interpreted that, which is you put the boss over, right? Whoever's signing the check is the boss. That's just how life works. But it's got to be what it is, right? I mean, there are not very many people that know boxing. There's just not very many people that box in the world, in the entire world. If you look back at the kids you went to school with, you don't have one single classmate. And there's a few of you. Byron, there's a few of you that can raise your hand and go, Chael, you're actually wrong. But there's only a few of you. As a broad stroke, not only have you never boxed, nobody you rode the bus with boxed. Nobody you went to 1st through 12th grade boxed. Nobody. Came and go, hey, what'd you do last night? I was down at boxing practice. Nobody. Nobody in your family. Not your uncle, not your cousin. Nobody. So it's an interesting thing because these are boxers. These are actual boxers that must appreciate the sport. And I will just tell you that I appreciate the sport. I have gone in the practice room with real boxers. And it is a very different experience. Joe Schilling comes to mind, but I'm going to touch Joe as many times as he's going to let me touch him, and he's going to touch me as many times as he wants to touch me. It's just there's a rhythm, there's a space, there's a pacing, there's just things that an actual boxer does, and it's a lifetime of work. And Jake Paul has proven to be very good at it. But then there's a comma. Jake Paul has proven to be very good at it for a guy that started in his 20s. Jake Paul has proven to be very good at it for a guy that didn't grow up in the Golden Gloves. He proved to be very good at it for a guy that's not a second generation. Right? It's not like a Floyd Mayweather situation where his pops is moving the coffee table before school and they're working on boxing. It's not like that. And I really wish that Tyron and Anderson would have spoken up. Now, they have a whole nother level of respect because they feel that it pertains to them. They fought Jake. A fighter will be very hesitant to pick against a guy that beat them, even if they don't like him and even if they have a resentment towards him. It just personalizes it too much, right? If I lost to Jake and I'm telling you that Joshua's going to beat Jake, then I'm telling you that I can't beat Joshua. And why those guys can't beat Joshua, I'm just sharing with you. These are world champions. These are Hall of Famers. These are guys with tremendous egos. They're not going to be able to come out and say that, right? They're trying to build their own confidence up. So there is some psychology behind it. So psychology why Jake would win a popular contest, but I'm trying to think of any other sport where that would have been the case. Any sport where any college stud, any high school up and comer, no matter how good and how talented they were, that you could go on a stage and have LeBron on the stage and get a popular opinion, and the people are going to say that this younger phenom is going to beat in front of the world LeBron tomorrow night. He's going to beat him tomorrow night. You're going to see. It's really an incredible thing. And if there are ways historically where sporting events will go awry. A lot of times you'll even get the correct outcome. Like Anthony Joshua is supposed to be Jake Paul. He is a massive, massive favorite. But there's still ways that could go awry. Francis versus Fury went awry. That is not the way. I mean, maybe you got the outcome that you expected, but boy, you did not expect that kind of a competition. And a lot of times you can do that with a superior athlete. And Jake Paul is a phenomenal athlete, but is he a superior athlete? See, I don't ever think of Joshua as a fighter. I don't think of Joshua as the guy that when the going gets tough, like say Evander Holyfield, say Bernard Hopkins. When the going gets tough, John Jones would qualify as that. When the going gets tough, he's coming on. He's going to fight back. I think of Joshua as a world-class athlete. I think of him as the best athlete in the heavyweight division. I think of him as one of the few good athletes that box. Most good athletes, particularly big guys, will go into football. They will, if they're tall enough, they'll go into basketball. They would go into baseball. They would go into a real sport, not a niche sport. Generally speaking, it's very rare that you get an athlete that could have probably done very well in football, just by example. It's very rare that you get somebody like that to go box. And I feel that that's what Joshua is. So as great of an athlete as Jake turned out to be, he can't out athlete Joshua. And that is my final analysis, and I want him to. I want Jake to win this fight. I want Jake to be safe. I tend to lean towards Sean O'Malley, and I too have a relationship with Jake. My first wish is that he comes out of this okay. It's a very dangerous proposition. They're in a gunfight. They're going to shoot at each other. One of them's going to land, right? I mean, it's a very dangerous proposition. I want him to come out safe, but I want him to win the fight. I don't know how to make the case for it. I don't have one single category. He's not faster. He's not bigger. He's not taller. He doesn't have a longer reach. He doesn't have more experience. There's just not one single category. There's not one piece on the tail of the tape. Even if you extend the tail of the tape, there's not somewhere that you check a box for Jake that I can find. But 4 out of 7 professional boxers publicly asked say that I'm wrong.